taking one of the very important session regarding cholesterol, the things you do not know about cholesterol. We compile questions from our surveys, our patient interviews, and internet research, and we have 15 questions which has been most common, which are very pertinent, and we thought that we make this live session so that you could understand in this podcast about cholesterol. The goal here is that we stop vilifying cholesterol, we understand its function, and we come up with the natural strategies to lower it. And then, what are the pitfalls which we may have by taking cholesterol medication, what we should be concerned about, and what are the myths and where the facts are, and what is the evidence lies. The truth is, cholesterol is not a villain. Let's start with our first question. What is cholesterol? Cholesterol is the building material of life. Every cell in your body is made up of cholesterol. Cell membrane of each cell is made up of cholesterol, and without cholesterol, life is not possible. Second, important hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and stress hormone cortisol, they all made up of cholesterol. Number three, your frame, your structure, your bones require vitamin D, which is derived from cholesterol. Fourth, to nourish this body, you need fat absorption. To absorb that, you need bile acids and bile salts, which are derived from cholesterol. So, cholesterol is the building block. What has happened is in our society, abundance has produced so much of food which is rich in cholesterol that it is becoming a problem. Rather than understanding the problem, we have started vilifying cholesterol as a bad actor or the something which causes disease. In our body, cholesterol is carried with fats, the fats which you and me know which we eat, like whether it's a fat in chicken, fat coming from beef, or our oils, butter, ghee, avocado oil, all those fats and the cholesterol, they carried into our circulation in combination with lipoproteins. See, these cholesterol and all different fats which I have alluded, they are water insoluble, and your water is nothing but a watery content which has chemicals, proteins, and cells embedded suspended in it. So if this cholesterol and fat has to circulate in the body, they need to be tagged to something so that they could be carried to different parts of the body. So body has designed a beautiful mechanism. Our liver produces lipoproteins, and these lipoproteins bind or to the cholesterol and the fatty acids and take it into the circulation. Cholesterol, we need about 8 to 1200 milligram of cholesterol every day to meet our daily requirements. Dietary source contributes about up to 300. The rest of the 75 to 85% is made by the liver. That is a concept which is must be clarified to all of us, because if we are not clear about normal homeostatic mechanism, how body controls how much cholesterol is circulating in our body, and we don't start messing up our physiology, we will be continue to make this mistake. So this concept is very important. 80% of cholesterol is made by the liver, and only 20% is getting absorbed from the gut or the dietary source. How does our body decides how much cholesterol to be made by the liver and how much to be absorbed? It depends on our physiological need. If our body is undergoing repair, growth, but our liver will start producing more cholesterol. If you start eating too much of cholesterol in a normal physiological condition, your body will dump it out and you will not be able to raise your cholesterol effectively. If your dietary source goes up, liver will decrease its production. So the net result is the same. So that is why now the current theory regarding how much dietary food is contributing to this elevated cholesterol is very dubious. The most common foods which are kind of regarded as bad are the fats, and they are not the villain. When you look at fats, fats could be saturated fats, unsaturated fats, and trans fats. The difference is in their chemical structure. Once your diet is very high in fat, let's take one at a time. Saturated fats. These saturated fats are carried to the liver, eventually going through lymphatic duct circulation, and ultimately making it to the liver. These saturated fats make your liver produce bad cholesterol or the LDL cholesterol, and also they make them produce good cholesterol, which is HDL cholesterol. So the net result may be zero. What we know for sure is, which is a good thing, that the saturated fat in moderation, not in excessive quantity. Nature does not like anything excessive. In moderation, that increases your good cholesterol. So the net result may be positive or negative, but definitely the studies are indicating it is not very negative. Further, there are two kind of people. One are hyperresponders. Those are the one when they consume the saturated fat, they definitely make too much of bad cholesterol and they make too much of good cholesterol. And most of us are in the middle, which kind of balancing is out. Second kind of fat is unsaturated fat. That's in unsaturated fats could be unsaturated fats or polyunsaturated fats. Those include avocado, olive oil, and then other fish oils, which is found in salmon, sardine. Those are the one which goes to the liver again and produce less of bad cholesterol and produce more of good cholesterol. That's why those oils or fats are considered healthy fats. Worst animal kind of first worst kind of fat is the trans fat. In the trans fat is something where the chemical structure we hydrogenate and we change the chemical structure of the oil, and which is foreign to our body. Our system does not recognize as native. So it does create a lot of inflammation in the body. That's one. Second, our liver produces disproportionately very high amount of bad cholesterol in response to that. And third, the kind of bad cholesterol it produces, it is small and dense so that they could get into our arteries and plaques, and the amount of good cholesterol rather than going up, which is happening with the saturated and monounsaturated, the good cholesterol goes down. Now the question is, why do we get trans fats? The most common source of trans fat is anything which we could buy from supermarket. By hydrogenating, the food industry changes the structure which provides couple of things. Number one, it has a more shelf life. It doesn't go rancid. Number two, it hijack our taste buds, so they many time are more tastier than, but very unhealthy, but more tastier than our regular fats. So they use our psychological mechanisms and physiology against us. Then extending the logic, how body is controlling your total cholesterol, which is being produced by the liver and being produced by the, or being absorbed from the gut, is carbohydrate content. If you are eating a lot of processed carbohydrates, they increase insulin. Insulin goes to the liver and pushes liver to produce more of bad, small, dense LDL cholesterol, which is the one which blocks up our arteries and lowers the good cholesterol. And as we know, it also pushes the liver to produce a lot of fatty acids to be stored, so we become fat. So that is why processed food, or that's how they increase our cholesterol. Now, reverse, if you eat healthy carbohydrates, which are complex, full of fiber, nothing will happen to your cholesterol. Actually, soluble fiber, which is in legumes, vegetables, and oats, that actually lowers your cholesterol because it binds them, keeps them in the gut, and you purge it out. So that's why what you eat has a more to do rather than generalizing that the carbohydrates are bad. So we discussed about the fat, we discussed about the carbohydrates. Proteins are neutral on the cholesterol part of it is. Stress management. If you are stressed out, cortisol level goes up, that increases insulin, and the same thing happen as if you are eating processed food. Lack of sleep. When you don't sleep, hormone, stress hormone like cortisol goes up, and there is a hormone called granule. That's the one which gives us hunger pains. That goes up, and that lowers our good cholesterol, increases our in bad cholesterol. So that is another double whammy which is happening. So trying to control how much liver will produce and how much we will absorb depend on what we are eating, what kind of fat we are eating, what kind of carbohydrate we are eating, whether we are managing our stress, whether we are sleeping. So this is how this thing is related. And the key concept so far is dietary intake probably does not contribute as much to your high bad cholesterol and low good cholesterol what we used to think. Exercise. When we exercise, we need to injury to the cells has to repair, and the cholesterol is used and our cholesterol comes down. That's why the babies which are who are growing, they have cholesterol 40 50 milligram per deciliter rather than the one which we are having. So the cholesterol, answering this question, what is cholesterol? Cholesterol is the building block of life, required for hormone, required for vitamin D, required for digestion, and how much dietary cholesterol is going to be absorbed and how much liver is going to produce. It depends on what you eat, what kind of fat you select, what kind of carbohydrate you select, and then how you are running your life. If you are running stressful life, you will have this problem. Next question is, what are the types of cholesterol? Let's take the journey of cholesterol. When liver produces cholesterol, liver in lipoprotein is packaging your cholesterol and fats with the lipoprotein, and that lipoprotein is called a lipoprotein ApoB. This whole will make an analogy that this is like a delivery truck is trying to deliver the fat and the cholesterol to the different parts of the body. As this thing is going through the body, it start losing its fat content, and then ultimately what is left on it, on this lipoprotein, is the cholesterol, and that is we call LDL cholesterol. So the first particle which liver produces, which has both cholesterol and fat, is called VLDL, very low density lipoprotein. It has a ID, lipoprotein, apoprotein B. Second comes in is losing and then later is LDL cholesterol. LDL cholesterol circulates is circulating in the body, and it will come to the point that it start getting oxidized, and it gets start getting deposited into the in between these arteries, and then makes plaque. Inflammatory cells comes in, they make the mess worse, and then the symptoms continue to get worse. This continue to get worse, and they will uh, lead to blocking of the arteries. So this process will keep on going t- till it blocks up the arteries and leading to heart attack and strokes.